This is kind of a cool piece of graffiti in a back alley, downtown Vancouver. And it's also a very casual review of the Google Pixel 7. I've had this camera for actually quite a while, and I've always wanted to do a review of it, but I never have. I actually had the Google Pixel 6 as well, never did a review on it. I had the Google Pixel 3 before that. I did several videos about it, but that phone died on me, and the battery went on it. Good phone. Loved that phone. But when the battery failed, then I got the Google Pixel 6. And after I got the Google Pixel 6, used it for a while. Then the 7 came out, then I tried the 7. The problem with the 6 was it had some software issues, kind of well known. The 6 and 6 Pro had some bugs, but I was okay with that because I had drank the Google Kool-Aid a long time before that with my Pixel 3, and I understood that it takes a long time for Google to work this stuff out, but they do. It's usually software related. It's because, they make the software, the OS for Android, and they're always pushing the envelope and making it 80% perfect, then shipping it, and then kind of fixing it as they go along. But the Pixel 6 runs pretty good now. Android 13 came along, they worked out all the bugs, and then 7 came along. The 7 actually launched a lot more stable. It has less issues. So I don't want to make an in-depth review because there's so many of those on the net, and I don't need to do that. I mean, those are hard to do. It's really hard to review a phone properly. To just get all your ducks in a row and do all the tests. There's a million tests you have to do. It's kind of a scientific thing. I'd rather do just a casual kind of chit-chat situation. Tell you what I know rather than what the truth is, because God only knows what the truth is, right? But I can always tell you what I know. So, as for a phone, the Google Pixel 7 is amazing. I'm using the Google Pixel 6 as my phone because the reception is so amazing. It really is. I have a whole bunch of iPhones, and none of them have as good of Wi-Fi or, phone reception as that Google Pixel 6. It's really, really good. All of my iPhones, I have the iPhone 14 Plus. It's just not as good. I don't know why either. So I use it for my phone as for just general general device for communication. The Google Pixel 6 and 7 are quite good. They have all these features, speech to text and translation devices and the Google Assistant, and I never use really all that stuff. I mainly use it for making phone calls and for content creation, for shooting photos and videos. For photos, it's amazing. Pixel phones have always been known for their photos. They're always amazing. I mean, hands down, slam dunk. If you want a device, a camera to shoot photos, the Google Pixel camera, away you go. Anything from 3 right up to 7 I can endorse. But when it comes to video, that's a whole different situation. Even on the Pixel 3, video was a little bit of an issue. But, I think if you were a high-end creator, had a successful channel, and you had a strong brand, and you were turning out good numbers, you're fine. I mean, you could use the Google Pixel phones, and just, you could shoot with a potato and probably get away with it because you have such a strong brand. I mean, it's okay if you have issues, you know. But comparatively speaking, there's 3 top brands for cell phones. If you like cell phone filmmaking like me, it's like Samsung, it's Apple, and it's Google. And right now, Apple is the best. It's got the best video camera out there, the video app. Samsung, I can't really speak too authoritatively on them. I had S9 a long time ago. It had a bit of a software issue, but that could have been my fault. I want to get back into Samsung, but Google, no, Google can't compete with Apple in the video department. And I guess the problem is for me, Google Pixel 6 and 7 will take videos for you, but they have a bit of an audio issue sometimes. I notice, especially with the front camera, it'll like do weird things. It's a software bug. They'll work it out eventually, but it's not that predictable. It kind of comes and goes. And then they have color issues with the video. If Google had the same color in their video as they do in their photos, I mean, it would be amazing. But for some reason, the colors in their video suck. And I don't know why. I just don't know why. It's kind of got a weird, warm coral hue to it. It's really weird. It's hard to correct. Like, I've got issues with iPhone colors because it's one of my kind of pet peeves. And I don't know, it's just, you know, the colors are okay, but they're just, I have issues with them. And what else? Stabilization's okay. Sometimes it can be the odd software bug in it, but generally speaking, the stabilization in video has improved year on year, or model on model, so that's no problem. Stabilization's fine. It's a really simple app. There's nothing to the Google Pixel app, which is good or bad. They introduced video focus lock, which is quite nice. But I guess the colors need some work and just a little bit of stability, you know, so that the thing works when you press it. Like, I made this big long video yesterday using the screen recorder, but the screen recorder file was corrupt. Couldn't get it off the phone. Stuff like that, you know, that wouldn't happen with Apple. Apple's just a bit more stable, you know. But, you know, the Google Pixel 6 and 7 work fine for, just press record. It's all very simple. Don't try and complicate things. But Apple just does it better, so I use Apple. Like, for instance, I'm using the back camera to shoot this. And the reason I'm using the back camera is because the front camera has weird focus issues. I'm going to show you some footage with it, just to show you what I mean. But it's just weird. So this is the back camera, front camera, sorry, it's a selfie camera. It's the camera that I should be using to do this video because you can see yourself and you can frame yourself. But it's just, well, the color is kind of weird to begin with, I think. And I don't know. It's terrible at night, too. Really terrible. It works, though, but sometimes it also has some audio snafus. But, you know, in a general overall sense, you could get the job done with a Google Pixel 6 or 7 camera. If you were a content creator, you know, you could do it. It's doable. It's not impossible. It's just that Apple does it better and easier. So that's why I kind of, and also Apple has this cinematic mode in the selfie camera, which is amazing. Google has cinematic mode in the back camera, which is less helpful, and it needs some work. It needs a few more iterations, but I mean they'll get it someday. So, but here's what this Google Pixel 7 is great for, is doing this. You're using the back camera, you're walking along and you're just seeing the world and you're doing some narration from the back. For some reason, the audio on the when the back camera's rolling, you can do narration really well from the other side of the camera. I don't know why. Try and do that. You can't do that when you're trying to shoot the back camera and then record from the back camera side. Forget about it. The mics aren't as good. The mics are better when you're recording from the front camera side, which is kind of strange. Anyways, you can do this thing where you can walk along. Gotcha. See, now you're walking and you're deciding, hey, I want to take a picture of this shot. And you can stop and take a picture of it. So now we have the screen recorder going. Hopefully the screen recorder file works and I can pull it off the camera. So now we can shut the camera off, the video recorder. Then we go into the camera app, and then we can take a picture, and we can look at the picture. And of course, since it's a pixel, it's going to be good. So then we can get out of there, we can go back into video, start recording again. Now you can also, there's also that button, it's that white button at the top. You can press that and get not a bad still off your footage. We're shooting FHD, which is 1920 by 1080, but it's okay for a quick shot for social media. This is kind of interesting though. So we'll crack off a shot of this. Yeah, and so it's a pixel camera, so shots have been good since forever. But as you can see, the stabilization is quite decent. We're just strolling along here. But it kind of all depends on what you want the phone for. I'm big into content creation. I'm big into filmmaking and making videos for YouTube, and there aren't too many options out there, good ones. But you know, you got your Google, your Samsung, and your Apple. Right now, Apple's the best that I know of. With Google, you kind of have to be in it for the long haul. If you're not willing to be in it for the long haul, then you're in trouble. That gives you an idea of the defocus you can get. That 1/1.3 sensor is quite nice. We could take a still of this. Get a little closer. Maybe get in there. There we are. Hit it up with some portrait mode. And let's see what that says. Processing. Yeah, not bad. Also, not bad. And that is one of those screen grab shots. It's not bad, really. It's just an alternative, like if you're walking down the street shooting video. This is the cinematic mode. It's 24 frames per second. It's only available in the back camera. I'd like for them to put it into the front camera. That's where vloggers could use it. The farther you are away from your subject, like this dumpster, the more challenging it is for the software to, figure out what it's supposed to be focusing on. I think it would be ideal on the front-facing camera for vlogging. Right now it's on the back-facing camera. So generally, if I don't lock the video focus and I just hold it up to my face like this, it works not too bad. But then so does the just a regular video camera using the large 1/1.3 sensor. It creates decent defocus in the background as well. It's a cool idea, but I think a big sensor in the front camera and back camera would be better in the long run, just to defocus the background a little bit better. Software is just, it's a lot of work to do it right. A lot of horsepower required to process all that information. Google has enough problems with all the apps they have on the phone as it is. Part of Google's problem is there's a lot of stuff on the phone. A lot of apps doing a lot of stuff. Like if this phone just had the camera app, it would be a much more stable phone. A much better phone, like a much better device to take pictures and video with. But when you have so much stuff packed into a computer, basically, the more stuff you got, the more problems you got. But, the market for cell phones is not photographers or videographers. The market is average consumers, and what they're trying to do is monetize communication. So that's why the focus is on things like Google Assistant, speech to text, all the translation software, and just all the apps and devices to track, your location and content and stuff like storing stuff, on the cloud. You make a lot of money out of there. So, I get it. At the end of the day, it's a business. So, there's only 3 major cell phone manufacturers in, I guess, North America, United States, and Canada. Google, Apple, and Samsung. And if you're into content creation and you like working with cell phones because you feel that they're, are really helpful to your creativity, then I would definitely say that you should consider Google, because it's one of the big 3. Definitely for a phone it's amazing, or it does the job. I would say that if you want to take photos for sure, you can't go wrong, because Google is by far got arguably the best camera app out there for taking photos. When it comes to video, though, there's better alternatives. Apple probably does it better. I need to do more testing with Samsung. But Google will get the job done if you want to just take videos with it. Very simple videos, shot simply, on full auto. Don't try and do anything fancy. Focus on story and character. To get the job done. And I'm always interested in seeing what they're going to do in the future. Google's always like coming up with some new stuff. So it should be interesting to see what they do in the future. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's a relationship with Google. You got to be in it for the long haul, see what they're going to be up to. But yeah, Pixel 7, pretty good phone all around. Pixel 7a might be interesting, see what they're going to do there. Then of course the Pixel 8, you know, everything's an iteration, right? You know, it's always they slowly like release all these new features and whatnot over a long period of time because it's a business. So I think if you're into YouTube and content creation, the focus should always be on your creativity. You have to feed that creativity. Get gear that just doesn't get in your way and allows you to create, just allows you to move forward. And don't be afraid to bounce, to try new things, to adapt to new stuff, you know. That's kind of why I like Google, because their attitude is always change, try this, try that, iterate. You know, stability is good, but also there's this balance between getting something stable and predictable and always trying new things. So that's all I know. Man, this is a noisy town.